Hey YouTube, Mark here with Greg, and we're going to do a little bit of an add-on. We're going to talk essentially in a previous episode, on episode 11. Guest host Mike and myself had talked a little bit about the Xbox One S versus the PS4 Pro. We did some pros and cons and various things, and neither of us had an Xbox One S,
Yeah,
but
and I felt that
Greg
you guys were
does.
missing some things.
Now, here's the thing, too, is, Greg kind of felt left out, and
Yeah, that's what it was.
he so
No, I,
I'm
I
curious
watched
to
it.
hear what you wanna say.
Yeah,
Uh,
I had to watch it because I wanted to see things from like the outsider perspective because I'm used to being on this side of things. And of course, I wanted to see what Mike thought of the systems, and I knew he had just got a PS4 Pro and the TV and all that, like the works.
yeah,
Lucky bastard.
yeah,
But
well,
anyway, um, it was like I was watching, and as soon as it was mentioned that neither of you had a 1S, I was like, well, this is kind of lopsided. Like, you guys are talking shit about the Xbox when you don't really actually know what's changed in the S. Like, if you're talking strictly about the base Xbox One, that's one thing. But come on now, what the hell? You're just like, screw that system. Um, so after watching, I was like, well, that's going to go in the next podcast I do with Mark because we got to fix this. Because there's a few things that maybe were true with the original Xbox One that are not anymore. And I honestly couldn't tell you because I've never had any experience with the original Xbox
well,
One.
look who's talking.
Yeah, original Xbox One. I did not have experience with. So maybe everything you said was true. I don't know.
We'll
But
find out. We'll find out.
But so for the viewers, this is strictly like I do have an Xbox One S, and I'm just kind of going off what was said in that podcast and where needed, kind of filling in the blank since you guys weren't able to do that. Um, okay, so with that said, first thing I want to talk about is the controller. Okay, you guys had mentioned how it kind of felt kind of cheap. Mike did anyways.
Yeah, the original one. I
Yeah,
do know that
now,
the S has some improvements, but
right.
don't have
And that's
anything
why
to
I wanted to
compare.
mention some of these things. And I kind of got the feeling like Mark was just kind of on a high from, or Mike, not Mark, obviously. But I think he's on kind of a high from having the PS4 Pro recently,
Could
just
be.
recently getting it. Which admittedly I was last time we talked about Xbox One on here. But okay, so here's the thing. To me, that controller is perfect. It's probably I didn't think they could improve on the 360 controller other than the D-pad. I didn't really think they could make it better. I was wrong. I think the Xbox One S is probably the best controller to date. Period. Um, because of all the things it does right. And now I know a lot of these things were corrected or changed or fixed or whatever you want to call it over the first version of this controller. Um, right there. So on the 1S, it has a textured grip. So on the back side, it's all textured. It feels great. I never thought a textured grip would actually matter that much until I held this thing. Um, the other thing is the D-pad. It's really clicky and it feels very, very responsive.
That's definitely. I don't know if you
Now,
can hear it.
see, I read though that they actually improved the D-pad over the original version,
Really?
which I didn't notice when I played the Killer Instinct demo years ago. But sure, cool. I like the D-pad now, and I didn't like it on the 360 at all
I like.
because it felt
I personally, I'm gonna admit that I think this D-pad is the best one that there is, and if they improved it somehow on the S,
that's what I
that's
read.
that's pretty amazing.
Maybe a viewer knows better than I do. I don't know. Um, but I mean, for me, the Nintendo D-pads still stand above all the others, but this one's damn close. This is really good. Um, Now the sticks. One of you guys had made a comment where saying that the sticks felt really cheap, and I have heard about people complaining that the rubber would tear off really
That happens
easily.
so for both. Which actually, where the
Yeah,
hell
you
did I
got the
put?
fancy sticks on your
Well,
PS4.
that's because I replaced mine. It's on charge, but I replaced my sticks with metal ones, and I've actually seen some people take the Elite Xbox One controller and modify the PS4 controller to be able to use those modified sticks.
Yeah,
I've actually thought about doing that, but it
it's an
takes.
expensive controller for that reason.
Well, no, you can actually buy the sticks on eBay.
No,
Because some people don't want them, or whatever. You can buy parts. So
right. Well, I will say, personally, I think that it feels really, really good. I think these sticks feel premium to me. Like,
I personally don't have any issues with them. Although I will say, after using the PS4 with the metal sticks for since 2014, so what 2.5 years or something. Um, it's weird going from these metal ones that I'm used to when I go play an Xbox game now with these rubber ones. It is a little
yeah,
different for me, but that's not Microsoft's fault. I modded my controller, so
yeah.
but
Well, I like that these have like the textured ring around the stick.
yeah, that
Um,
helps. That's very nice.
I have seen a lot of demo units in stores where shit was torn to
Yeah,
crap.
but you got to remember something too.
People are bad on those things.
And half the time when I go to pick up my wife from work, the demo units aren't even working.
Yeah.
They're out of order or something. I'm like, dang it, I wanted to play some games while I'm waiting. But oh well, whatever.
Um, so there's that. And then I gotta mention something else you guys both complained about was that the white glow of the Xbox logos. Um,
It
Man,
is
I'm so glad I have an S because it's barely noticeable.
well, okay, but see, definitely on this unit and even on the controller, it's bright. I mean, you use this. It'd be a dim flashlight, but you could still use it to brighten up your pitch black room if you needed.
The thing that I kept thinking when you guys were talking about that was like, okay, well, on my system, it's so dim that it almost doesn't really do anything. Like sure, I can tell the system's on and the controller's on, but like I can't see I don't even notice the light on when I'm playing a game. On either system, on the system or the controller. I don't notice it one bit. It's actually reminiscent of the Steam controller for anybody watching who has that. It lights up in a similar way. Um, Now, this could be changed from the original, of course. But what I found interesting was that how Mike defended the DualShock 4 as not having this light shine in your face. Because one of my biggest problems with the PS4 controller is that stupid light bar that just happens to shine right on my screen when I'm trying to play, giving me a
Have
damn
you
reflection all the
have
time.
you dimmed it down though? Because you can dim it down.
I've tried, but I still see the light because it's still a light shining at my TV.
Well,
Um,
I don't know. I mean,
so
my TV, as you can see, there's some glare right up in there.
yeah,
I've never really had that issue, but your TV's bigger than mine, so
when you're sitting farther away too, it makes a difference. But
yeah.
um, now I personally don't think that the PS4 controller feels premium like at all. I think it feels cheap. I like
Well,
it design wise,
they
but
did update it for the PS4 Pro, and personally, I haven't used one, so I don't know.
okay.
I think it has textured grip as well. Um, but again, I haven't used it, so that's just me thinking. But
Well, I feel like the handle parts feel like hollow, and every time I pick it up,
they
that's what I
that's the
think.
thing is for the most part, they are. I mean,
Yeah.
when I modded mine, I had to take it all apart, and they are pretty much hollow.
Yeah, and that just feels cheap to me. I still like the controller.
I will
It's
say it's
fine.
a lot better than PS3 by leaps and bounds, in my opinion.
Yeah.
However, this controller, man, it's very, very, very good. I love these triggers. I love the fact that they have the rumble motors in the triggers, and then they
Yeah,
also
that is
have them
so
in
cool.
then they have them in the controller itself too. I was playing Forza 6 the other day, and I noticed that like I would hit a bump or something
Or
on
when
the
you
right
skid or
side, and
something.
then it's just this side would be like, blah, blah. I was like, no, that's awesome.
It is. And
Eh,
same thing with Forza Horizon 3 for me. I love those things, but um I do want to point out too the system. Now, okay, so if you do or don't like the look of it, that's one
I
thing.
think it
You know,
looks awesome, but that's me,
that's
you know.
yeah, well, it's everybody's opinion as far as aesthetics go. Whatever. But I will say it's small and it's quiet as hell, and considerably more quiet than my PS4. My PS4 is no louder now than it was the day I brought it home. Um, Not that it's super loud, but there are certain things like when the fans ramp up, it's noticeably louder.
Yeah.
When I put a disc in the drive,
Wow.
that is way louder, which surprised me because on the PS3 it's pretty much silent until like on the Slim anyway, PS3 Slim. And but yeah, on the Xbox One S, it's silent there too.
Well,
So
there, like, I do have a friend that I went to college with. He had bought an Xbox One S on Black Friday, and he kind of didn't open it for a couple days, um, just due to time. And then he hooked everything up, turned the system on, and the fans were like full blast. And obviously it was defective.
yeah,
He bought it at Best Buy, and they exchanged it for him or whatever. So he actually bought the warranty from Best Buy because in the past with 360, he didn't trust it. So he that was his first Xbox One, and I kind of could see that. He went through like three Xbox 360s.
yeah,
I probably would get the warranty thing as well because I wouldn't want to be waiting a couple weeks for Microsoft to ship me a new one.
exactly. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that the drive is way quieter on the S than on the stock PS4. That could be fixed in the Pro also. I don't know. Um, One thing that's probably the biggest complaint I have against PS4 that amazes me most about the Xbox One S, probably all Xbox Ones to be honest, is that the suspend mode. So I'm sure everybody knows what that is by now, especially if you're watching this podcast. But basically, it just kind of suspends the game, so you don't have to reload the entire thing from the very start every time you go to play. And it basically puts you right back where you left off. So if you pause a game, that's where you start when you go back to it. Um, a great idea in theory, though. On the PS4, I do not even try to use it anymore. I like just turn the system completely off because otherwise, every single time I will get a damn disk check error when I start the system.
Hmm.
Now this got considerably better when I swapped the drive out for a 2 terabyte. Though I wasn't actually using the suspend or rest mode or whatever on that at that point because it had already screwed up my Metal Gear save.
Wow.
So yeah, that was many hours down the drain. Um, so that was terrible. And when I got the Xbox One, I knew that was a feature. And to my surprise, I have not had a single problem. Even when I've had to unplug the system, which I had to do recently because I had to rearrange my living room and stuff. And PS4, of course, it was like, you have to check your disk for an error. And then Xbox One, though, turned it on. It's good to go.
Well,
No,
it
just check or
is it
anything.
is running Windows, but with that in mind, actually,
Now, did the PS4 launch with that feature though, or did it get added in? Because I feel
if
like it got
if
added
if I
in.
remember correctly, when it launched, it was something that they had promised in a future update.
I think so. Okay.
That along with game share,
Yeah.
which that feature, in my opinion, is amazing. I've actually a friend of mine in Tokyo, Japan, was playing the hell's that racing game? Um, I can't remember what it's called, but I hadn't played it yet, and I'm like, hey, let's see if game share will actually work. Lo and behold, it did, and I was playing his game from here in this room while he's in Japan. I mean, that's awesome. And the lag was like, there really wasn't any. And it may not have, it definitely wasn't 1080p, maybe
So is it just
720.
stream it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't
Like
never
you,
even heard
you,
about it.
you hit your like you're doing your button pressings and everything, and that essentially sends your inputs to his PS4, does whatever you did, and then sends the visuals back to you, so you see
Hmm.
what happened, and it's pretty damn fast.
Interesting. We'll have to try that so I can see it sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, Now there's one other thing. I don't. This is something you guys were kind of sitting in the same boat as I am. That's the storage between the
Yeah.
systems. I like on the PS4 that you can swap the internal hard drive easy.
And it's
That's great.
supported, and I think
Yeah.
they support actually up to 6 terabyte drive right now.
Okay. Well, that's pretty that's pretty great because it looks nice after you do it. Like there's no extra devices sitting around or nothing. Um, but it is kind of a bummer that they don't even allow external on that. Like I
They
think
do
it'd be
for
a nice
backup
option.
purposes only.
Yeah, see that kind of sucks though. In a way. I do prefer internal, but that's where the Xbox One is kind
And
of.
even the 360, if you want to put that there, and the Wii U, they all support external media, and it's awesome.
That's
You
true, yeah.
know,
The Wii U does it just as good as Xbox One S or One. So that's worth noting if you ever need it. But um, the thing I wanted to mention that you guys didn't really touch on, I don't think, was that when you, even though the Xbox One only supports external drives to increase your storage, it's worth noting that you can do multiple drives
mm,
because as long as you have enough USB ports, you can hook up multiple USB drives to it, which could lead to a large storage capacity. But in my case, I found something I didn't really expect. I bought a 2 terabyte external for that on Black Friday also. Not on Black Friday. It was actually days later, but it was like $20 less because they were trying to get rid of them. So
ah,
I won. But anyway, um, so I got this 2 terabyte external. I plugged in, did the setup and everything. Then I noticed it was showing that I had a total of like 3 terabytes. It's because I already had 1 terabyte in there. The internal hard drive is 1 terabyte. So it was like, when I was watching your guys' video, I was like, well, that's kind of worth mentioning because, yeah, sure, I just got this 2 terabyte, but instead of swapping out the drive that's in there, I'm just adding to what's in there. So now I have 3 terabytes instead of two. And it's
yeah,
like, it's not like it's not like definitively better or worse. I don't think either system has it down right, but it's worth noting for anybody in the market. It's it's good. It's not perfect. They both have good options to them. PlayStation's drive was super easy to swap out, or in Mike's case, buying a 2 terabyte version right out of the gate. That's always good too. Um, but I don't think that the Xbox solution is terrible in that respect. But yeah, I think that's about all I had.
I do hope that Scorpio will have like allow you to upgrade that internal drive. I mean, because if you think about it, the 360 allowed you to do that. Now, granted, they had their own
Yeah.
cases and stuff, but it still gave you the option. If you needed a bigger drive, go ahead and buy a bigger drive. Now, they had the external media, added on later on, but it just, to me, having the external media is a better idea. And I don't know, having both is great. Whereas
Yeah.
Xbox One, it's just you can external only, and then obviously PS4 or even the Pro, you just internal. But
Yep.
I don't know. I kind of would. It would. I think Sony could easily enable it because they do support external drives, but only for backup purposes. So
I think they should both have the options. I know the
yeah.
Xbox is built in a way that
Well, the current,
internal
yeah,
doesn't.
currently right now they couldn't, but when Scorpio comes out, they could design it in such a way where you could upgrade it like
Yeah.
that. And I think
And I
they
hope they
should.
do. Yeah, I think all the consoles should let you do either way.
They're coming more and more PC like anyways. You might as well just do it.
Yep. And with that said, screw all these consoles and buy a Wii U. Wii
uh,
U for the win. Yeah.
oh man, you know what? Screw that. I'm just gonna tell you to go buy a Dreamcast. I'll
Okay,
even provide you
that's
the
acceptable
Amazon.
too.
I'll even provide the Amazon link in the description below for the Dreamcast. It will be used, I promise you that. And the games are awesome, and they
Yep.
will always be awesome. So
And you never need a hard drive.
no, no. Although there are some hacks where you can hook some up using the serial port. They're not very fast, but they do allow you to kind of play ROMs. But anyway, that's besides all this. Go ahead and buy that Dreamcast, and I'll put the links for an Xbox One S in the description, and even the PS4 Pro if that's your thing. But with all that being said, I would like to thank you guys for watching this continuation of episode 11, and like always, happy gaming. Alrighty.